Okay, so sometimes something innocent sort of mushrooms from there, blooms, snowballs, etc. So a viewer had watched my video about this unit. This is the HP MP9 G4 retail system. And they were asking whether it came with a Windows 10 license because they noticed on the label it said FreeDOS. And I had never noticed that myself and was wondering what that really meant. I know I've heard of FreeDOS, and I remember seeing it as an option, but I never actually recall seeing it on the label. So from that, I decided, okay, well, let's see if it has a license embedded in the BIOS. So I have another video that talks about how to find the Windows key. I ran through those steps. I did actually two of them, one using the Win10 XPE, couldn't find a license file. I did the Linux, couldn't find the actual table that would normally have it in there. Tried running a Windows 10, actually, I think it was maybe a Windows 11 install, and it came up and said, hey, I need a license for this. So I'm like, wait a minute. So then I looked up this serial number, and there's nothing in the listing that says anything about either Windows 8, Windows 10, no Windows whatsoever. So basically, this unit, without, of course, buying a separate Windows license, uh, we really can't do an install on it of any Windows products. So this could very easily then just be used as maybe a Proxmox server, etc. So, but the story doesn't end there. So, or I should say, part of the story is that if you are looking for any of these units, particularly this MP9, have them show you a picture of the back and see if you can look up the serial number, see what it says for the OS. I looked at other eBay listings and they all said something like Windows 10. This was the only one that shows the FreeDOS, and I'm sure the seller, the person that was selling it, they probably found it, at some garage sale or a business sale or something. They didn't know what it was. I didn't think to look for it, and so I wasn't deceived, etc. And unit is fine. I can still use it for other things, but it's something to keep an eye out for. So then the story goes, well, I wonder if I took some of my older other kinds of units, particularly some of the funky ones. And the other funky one that I have is this is the HP 260 G1. This is the one that's kind of like, pretty much all plastic. It's got some funky stuff on the inside in terms of how it's laid out. There's a whole video on that one too. So I thought, okay, this is in essence a sort of a G1 product. Can I take this and install Windows 11 on it directly? Can I actually run the Windows 11 install? Is it going to complain about a license key, etc.? And lo and behold, I ran it and it went through fine. And it installed Windows 11 and Windows 11 Pro, and all was good to go. So then I thought, okay, well, what about my Elite Desk 800 G1 Mini? I also tried this experiment with the Pro Desk. Ran it, and when trying to do the Windows 11, it wanted a license key. And I'm like, wait a minute. It says right here, Pro Windows 8. I looked up this particular serial number, and it talks about Windows license, blah, blah, I mean, it kind of talks about the Windows 8. I ran through the steps to find the key, and yes, it does show that it has a Windows key. There's a utility that you can download that will even tell you, based on the key, what does that correlate in terms of, hey, is it a Windows 8 key? Is it a Windows 10, etc., Pro, regular, so forth? Said it was Pro, but it would not do a straight Windows 11 fresh install. So what I ended up doing with this, and I'm debating whether to, I think most people know, I'll show some of the basic steps on how to at least get Windows 10, because then what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to then reference my other video, which talks about doing the upgrade. But long and short of it, if you have any unit that's Windows 8, what you're going to have to do, if you got this brand new fresh, maybe you didn't have a drive, etc., and you want to go ahead and put Windows 11 Pro on it, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to install Windows 10 Pro, do the registry hack, and then while inside of Windows 10, you're going to have to upgrade it to Windows 11. Then you're going to end up with Windows 11 Pro, but you can't go to it directly. I guess if you have Windows 8, there just isn't that path to leapfrog right into Windows 11. You're going to always have to do the Windows 10 first, then to go to 11, which kind of tells you, again, not all machines are the same. It's possible that maybe later G1s might have come with the Windows 10. I doubt it. G2s, you might be in that realm where there's maybe some Windows 8 ones versus Windows 10 ones, so you're going to have to be careful with that. And the same sort of thing, you may need to do the Windows 10 install first and then get the other. If you're interested in getting the Windows 11 on your older units, I would kind of rush out and make sure that you've got that Windows 10 ISO. I'll include a link in the comments for this on where to go for Microsoft to download and get that Windows 10. But I would get it particularly before October, because you never know, Microsoft may just take it down. I don't think you can even find a Windows 7 or 8 ISO from Microsoft anymore, because they really don't want you installing that again. They want you, at least in something that's being kept up to date. I may be wrong on that, and of course there's other places where you can get those from Internet Archives, etc. So let me at least show real quick a couple things on how to get Windows 10, the ISO. Technically, you download this utility that pulls down the ISO for you. All right, so our first step is we need to get that Windows 10 ISO. So what I would do a search for Windows 10 ISO. You want to make sure you're going off of Microsoft, not some other site. Go in the disk image. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do an update or anything. Create Windows 10 installation media. So we'll do a download there. Okay, so we've got the Media Creation Tool 22H2. We're going to launch that. It's going to, ask for admin privileges. All right, it's going to start out with this getting a few things ready. Okay, we're going to accept. Always seem to be getting a few things ready. Okay, we want to make sure to change this to say create installation media. We do not want to upgrade this PC now, which is the default. We're going to say next. And this is where, if you needed to, you could change the language. This is always good to say Windows 10.
Architecture, you presumably would go with the 64-bit. We want to do an ISO file. We'll go ahead and call it Windows underscore 10. Save. And now it's going to go through a process of downloading. It's going to verify. And then it's also going to a step with the where it actually says create, but I think all it's really doing is the ISO. So we'll jump ahead to we'll pause and we'll let it jump ahead to that. Okay, so this is where it's going to get to the point where it's doing the creating the Windows 10 media. Basically, it's just creating the ISO file for you. This part does seem to take the longest in the process. Okay, this is toward the end here. It says this burn ISO file to a DVD, but I believe that's just kind of telling you, or reminding you maybe what you're going to do. We're just going to use Rufus and stick this onto, take the ISO and stick it onto USB drive. So we'll just click Finish. Okay, there's our Windows 10 ISO that was downloaded. We're going to stick in a USB drive, a thumb drive, and then we'll run Rufus. Okay, it already sees our D that we put in. We're going to select our ISO. It does a little bit of scanning. I think it's trying to figure out if it's a Windows ISO because it has some other options for it. Okay, you want to do a standard Windows installation versus a Windows to go. We'll click Start. On here, you could set various options if you want. Just leave it as is. Click OK. And this is just telling you that you may get a security issue. You may have to turn off secure boot in order to boot it. Okay. And copying the ISO. This process probably takes about 10 minutes. We'll come back to it. Okay, so now it's been made. We can just close it. And you can then eject and take out that USB drive. So using that USB drive, you can boot right off of it and run through the Windows 10 install, get everything, configured, everything working and such. And then from there, what you'd want to do is jump over to the video I have on how to upgrade older hardware to Windows 11. And it talks about some registry hacks, how to walk through as far as getting the Windows 11 ISO. And then that way, at the end of all this, you will have a Windows 11 Pro running on your older G1 hardware, or possibly G2 if it had the only the 8.2, it's not 8.2, 8.1 Windows 8.1 license. I don't think we have any that have Windows 7, because I was looking through even some of the ancient Dells that I have, and those don't even have Windows 7. But if you did, conceivably the same thing would happen. You would probably have to go from 7 up to 10, and then from 10 to 11. So I wanted to show you kind of a nifty tool that combines both the reading of your current license key and also allows you to determine, based on a license key, what the product is. So that if you were to go into, I don't know, one of these older units and were able to pull out the license key, you'd be able to look at it to see exactly, hey, is it 8.1? Is it 7? Is it Pro? Is it regular, et cetera, et cetera. So what we'll want to do is go into the Microsoft Store, and we're going to want to look for Show Key Plus. And looks like this icon. And we'll install it. If we click on Open, by default, when it comes up, it's going to give information on what you currently have installed. So Windows 11 Pro, the product key, the build version, the installed key. This would be the actual internal, that's in the BIOS as far as the embedded hardware key. And then down here, the edition that correlates to that installed key. And so you'll notice it is a Win 8.1 license key, but through all our, installing 10 and then 11 on top of it, we were able to get Windows 11 Pro. Now, even neater is if you go down to Check Edition, this is where you can put in any product key and it will give you the information. So I was going to try it with a ProDesk Windows key. So if you type in the product key here and click on check, it's going to give you the information as to what that product key is used for. So with this, we can see that that ProDesk has a Win 8.1 Pro license inside of it. Now, another way to confirm what kind of license is if we go on an HP part surfer, type in the serial number of the unit. In this case, this is my G1 that we were looking at. We can make sure that we've got the right one because all it takes is one thing a little off. So this is Elite Desk 800 G1 DM. We look down in the specs and we can see right here, Win 8 Pro. So we know that that is what is going to be as far as the licensing for that. So it actually comes down here too. This, I guess this must be the actual label where this is the actual license. So either way, I mean, you probably go one hand in hand. Looks like it has a couple different labels here that talk to 8.1. So on others, like as example, if we were to look up the unit at the beginning, which was the what is that, the MP9. So we look up that MP9 by its serial number. We see, just a confirmation as far as what it is. If we scroll through, we've got information about, the processor and other sorts of things, but no mention whatsoever of any sort of Windows license. I was even looking to see if there's anything that talked about the FreeDOS, but I guess because it's free, they probably don't really care. But just and then maybe would only put if something like like Windows, which you actually have to pay for, would be part of it. So this must have been their real low end, as inexpensive as possible unit. And I just happened to have bought it. Maybe I guess we could call it sort of rare because it's one of the few that I've seen, or I should say the only one that I've seen that actually just says FreeDOS on it. So hopefully you've learned a few things. How to put Windows 11 Pro on these older units. Also what to be aware of so that you perhaps don't get stuck with something that doesn't have a Windows license even in it, or what to look for. Always good if you can get that bottom of the unit where you can get the serial number. Or at worst, just ask them, hey, what is the serial number? I'd like to do some checkup on it and find out exactly what's in the unit, what it originally came with, what kind of licensing I should expect from it.